You brought it up to start the show. The 76ers, a huge win. Embiid was awesome. We've got to give him his flowers because the three of us have been killing him, thinking Jokic should have been the rightful MVP. But he was great in the game. And I just want to say this, Amal. I'm going to start with this premise because everybody's talking about Mazzulla, the young head coach, 34 years old, his lack of adjustments. I dug into the Boston Globe this morning. They're going crazy about his rotation issues. If you're just watching the game with a naked eye, you could see, they never adjusted to that Harden Embiid high pick and roll defensively. The Celtics never made an adjustment. So again, and remember, he admitted the day after he should have called a timeout in game 3. That's not good for Mazzulla to come back and admit his mistake. That's my opinion. But here's the thing. I've always thought, and again, long thought about Tatum and Brown, kind of empty calorie-ish, if that makes sense to you. 100%. There is a lot to them. There's some substance as far as star players. They're not superstars. And yes, I'm including Jason Tatum into this conversation. It always feels like I'm left wanting with these two players. And look, you can call Jaylen Brown a star. I'd put him a little bit above basic Jimmy. I'm trolling a little bit. But God. Tatum's the real guy. These guys have been here now many, many times in the postseason, in the finals last year. And even though Tatum 36 last night, it was inefficient. Brown 24 last night. They shot 39.8 from the floor. That was the 6th worst percentage for a Celtic team all year. And that's why most, because of a lackadaisical approach, are pointing to the head coach. Let's be very clear about why and how Mazzulla got the job. First off, Udoka was horny. Okay, we understand improprieties. I won't go there. He's now the Houston Rockets head coach. But I think it was his name Will Hardy, the lead assistant for Udoka, who's now coaching there down in Utah. Ainge brought him over because apparently he was the mastermind that was aiding Udoka as far as offensively. Mazzulla was the 4th assistant on the staff, just became the full-time head coach February 16th during the regular season. I don't know what the expectations were. A lot of this has to go on the two quote-unquote superstars, and that's obviously Tatum and Brown.
I would agree with so much of what you just said there. One of the things that, to me, that bothers me, I had Tatum listed in my top 10, and I went full NFL scout. I went along to get along with everybody else in that situation. I think Tatum's a tremendous player, and he's got incredible upside, and he should be a bona fide top 5 player in this league with his talent and his ability. Jaylen Brown, to me, is an absolute Robin. He's a very good number 2, but he's not a superstar under any stretch of the imagination, in my opinion. And I agree with you. They are empty calories. Now, Joe Mazzulla and company can just rectify all the errors that took place last night in a game they were non-competitive. Philadelphia had a nice double-digit working margin the entire second half. Maybe they cut it to 9 or so, but nothing really where you felt like the 76ers were threatened. And Patrick, to your point, this team needs to be able to deliver. They win one game, I think they're in a great position to be able to win game 7 because I don't see Philadelphia winning 3 out of 4 games on the road. But give the 76ers credit. We talked about it yesterday. I said Embiid's going to go over his 29.5. He gets to 34. I thought he was going to play a big game. Got off to a fast start. Did a tremendous job yesterday. So let's see if they can continue that trend. The most important game the Sixers have played in a while now, an opportunity. You got to go back to the series they lost against the Toronto Raptors in game 7. This game at home is that crucial.
Philly was plus 260 going into this, Amal. They're now flipped minus 195 on the series. Why? You look all time with the series tied at 2s, the game winner of 3, 187 and 41 all time. Now, you're better with numbers than I. You're a percentage guy. 187 and 41 if you're in the 76ers spot they were last night by winning game 3 off a series tied at 2s. Again, the Mazzulla conversation is going to continue. First off, he's overmatched. He's 34 years old. He was a 4th assistant on a staff that went to the finals last year. He was pegged because they freaked out. Remember, when the Udoka stuff went down, it was already training camp. That was right before the season started. They had to make a decision. Stevens goes with Udoka because the kid left for Utah, and Danny Ainge poached him. A lot of this has to be, we talk about Tatum being young. We talk about Jaylen Brown being young. I can't remember who came on the show. Dustin, you might remember, who said there's some strife within that locker room. And if you've been focused on some of these quotes come from Jaylen Brown, and you know this, Amal, Cal, he's a very bright guy. Concerted shots at Tatum. And there seems to be some divisiveness in that Celtics locker room. There seems to be a contingencies that's Tatum and that's Brown. That's my takeaway. I don't know about you two.
No, I would agree with you. And, Malcolm Brogdon is in the camp of Jaylen Brown, another UVA guy. They're both very cerebral, intelligent guys. I think there's a bit of a division there within that locker room. We'll see how it plays out now. Great opportunity. Look, all the criticism that we have for Boston could be completely reversed 48 hours from now if Boston wins Game 6 in Philadelphia. I don't know if they are going to or not. Patrick, where do you come down? Can they win that game? Obviously, they can win the game. But, I mean, do you believe that they will?
No, I don't. And here's why. I think it was either you on your phone call with Dustin last night or Dustin that put it in his show notes. But we talked about the most complete roster right now. Yep. And it used to be Amal, you had to have a big three. You had to have 3 stars. Now it's just 2 and an X factor. The X factor right now is Maxey. That's it.
Yes.
He's the 3rd best player in the series as far as 1, 2, top 2, you go 3. And he might be across the board right now in the postseason.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.